The process begins in the contact point. So the place where I get perception and perspective around the subject. What really is there beyond what we're told, right? And that's to do with faith, and what I see beyond what we're exposed to. So the installations that I build and design are all a reflection of my faith. Yeah, when creating, I think and remember people such as Samuel Fossil, Carame Weems. That reminds me of my mom. She's such a note taker. She likes to remind people, even if she's already told. And that's like real material, right? I think about Jeanette Tavares, a really good friend of mine that I met in church. She was like a youth leader at the time, and she kind of merged different disciplines like dance, theatre, discipleship. Uh, I was just fascinated with this interdisciplinarity happening in the church for the purpose of uplifting the youth. There's different layers in my work. One of the layers that's very important is timeline. Another one is materiality, working with found material. There's also legibility, how clear it is, or what kind of reading choreography would it require? Would it require you to move around it to understand it? Or would it require you to stay still to read it? Would it require you to read through it? So yeah, legibility, materiality, timeline, tension. All these layers intersect. So how a specific material would reveal the timeline in which he belongs in. Yeah, those things really inform my work and how I build. Yeah, the use of found material, for instance, is led by my interest in reflecting everyday lives, real experiences, how people experience materials as well. How people mark newspaper, how they write, how they remind themselves of experiences. So sometimes working with existing material that is connected to people, connected to cultures, connected to communities is almost like integral to for us to reflect on it. In my performance works, I often think about this idea of rehearsal and the intimacy that or the privacy in rehearsal, right? And I try and push this feeling, this exact same feeling of intimacy, into the spectacle, into the moment of showcasing in public space. How do you activate the intimate feeling in such a public setting? So I always aim to blur the lines between a rehearsal and a spectacle, because there's a tension, right? Or I would like to confuse, or I'd like to not work towards presenting to impress, but presenting to draw closer, or to merge audiences closer.
or the author and the reader, to actually draw an intimate relation in between rather than a submissive one. My work maybe calls for a different approach in how we read, how we understand, and how we take accountability in presence. How can presence be celebrated, and how can presence be acknowledged and witnessed in real time, and how can that be very visible in artworks.